Hello everybody and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Pritchard Cycling News Show. Now, breaking news, I look absolutely knackered. I'll tell you why in a second, but first, before we do anything else, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've already surpassed 35,000 subs. Let's get to 36,000 subs. Thanks very much. Right, the reason I'm so tired. So for the past 3-4 weeks now, I've been doing the Tour de Zwift, right? And the past 3 have been particularly hard. And in that time, I've dispensed with a Science in Sport turbo gel #ad, right? Took it in. Done the stages, went to bed relatively late, right? Laid there, heart thumping, boom, 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 boom. That's weird. That's weird. Could not sleep. For the life of me, I could not sleep. It's happened 3 times now. 3 o'clock this morning, I gets up and I'm like, I'm going to check those turbos, make sure there's no caffeine in them. Turns out, there's not only a little bit of caffeine in them, there's a shit ton of caffeine in them. So I was still awake at 4 o'clock this morning, twiddling my thumbs, just waiting for the night to pass. So apologies if this sounds mental, if I look terrible, and if none of this news show is coherent from here on out. But the least you can do is hit that like button for a very tired Pritchard. Right, let's get on with news. All right, first up in the news, it wasn't just me that was streaming last night. 3.5 hours of streaming. Stage 5 was absolutely brutal. If you want to check any of the highlights, go up there. The first 2 rides were quite fun. The final climbs were good, but I tell you what, it took it out of me. Anyway, as I said, I wasn't the only person streaming last night. One man, Freddie Ovett, who's just started his YouTube channel, was streaming the Zwift Racing League Premier Division, and guess what? He only went and bloody won, didn't he? So with 1.5 kilometers to go, you can see Freddie was at the front. There was a group of, I don't know, I'd guess about 20 riders maybe. But he was there right at the front with the other big names you'd expect to see in Zwift. And now we'll watch the action from 800 meters to go. You can see it placed himself pretty perfectly, really, in this little group. A lot of orange numbers, a lot of 7 watts per kilo going down in the ride, and that peloton, that mini little pelotony groupy thing, was just stretching out more and more and more and more as riders were starting to ramp up the power. We're down to 600 meters. We've been riding for 52 minutes. He's at 183 BPM. He's not saying a word. He's not a real streamer, is he? Then boom, look at all those orange numbers. But what I loved about this ride is he didn't panic. He just pressed on the pedals a little more. Just pressed on the pedals a little more. And even now, still not panicking, just following him. Then this dude, I think it was, what's his name? Aikida, hit the aero. 300 meters to go now. And everyone starts their little sprints. Aikida never really gets out of the saddle. Lionel Vajassassin, he was right up there. He was right on the case of Freddie Ovett. But Freddie's professionalism and Freddie's hairband and big hair got him over the line in first place, didn't it? Boom. Have that. He loved it. Look at that. Look at that victory salute. Lionel Vajassassin finished second and Aikida was third. Nice racing, Freddie. Well done. So there you go. That's how you actually ride and race on Zwift. Turns out some people are actually good at it. If you want to check out the full stream, link down in the description. Make sure you go and head over to Freddie's channels. Hit that subscribe button because you do get good quality racing there. You might not get as much bants, but you certainly get some good quality, high number racing. So make sure you check that out. Now, staying on the subject of Zwift, did you see this a couple of days ago? It potentially might have only come out yesterday, but Movistar are launching a brand new talent ID competition that will seek to identify 5 men and 5 women to join the new Movie E-Team. The competition will be held exclusively on Zwift, with the competition journey presented by... I don't know what that says. Now, it's going to be held over 5 weeks. The Movistar Team Challenge will start on Wednesday, the 3rd of February, with 2 Movistar Team Challenge qualifier races catering to different time zones. Movistar Team and Zwift have invited 300 of the best ranked racers on the platform, many of whom are are currently racing in Season 2 of the Zwift Racing League to compete for a spot on the team. In addition to those invited riders, any rider will have the opportunity to qualify for a chance to fight for a spot with the Movistar E-Team. Qualifying races will be held on Zwift on Wednesday the 3rd of Feb for both men and the women across 2 different time zones. Top 3 in each race will then be eligible to take part in the first round of the Movistar Team Challenge on Wednesday 10th of Feb. Got to be 18 or over from 1st of March 2021. Bosh. Woo, look at that! If you're part of the Movistar E-Team, they're going to be provided with a Canyon road bike in Zwift and in real life, Movistar team access, equipment in Zwift and in real life, and official products. Access to team coaches, trainers, physios, nutritionists and team training camps. Opportunity to attend Movistar cycling tour trips and 1-year contract that can be renewed upon review. So similar to the Zwift Academy held over a much shorter period of time, but 300 of the best Zwifters are going to be taking part to secure a ride. Hey, listen, I know a lot of people are still against this whole indoor racing, this whole indoor cycling thing. But when you've got teams like Movistar jumping on the bandwagon, realising that there's a real niche for it at the minute, and there's a real need for it because of what's happening in the world, and we're all locked in. This again, it's just another step forward to the whole legitimacy of indoor racing becoming much more legitimate. But what do you think to this? Are they going to find that the top 300 Zwifters are? I'm not saying they're all, because they're clearly not. But you're going to find a few anomalies in there, aren't you? You're going to find a few people who are a bit taller than they actually say they are. They're going to be a bit wider than they actually claim they are. So how are they actually going to get on? They're probably on equipment that probably isn't calibrated either. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Is it going to be a legitimate form of racing? What are these team members? Are these team members going to be paid? Or because, again, well, we're giving you exposure. You're part of Movistar. You should be grateful for it. They're just going to leave them to it and kind of just say, yeah, you're part of the team, now go and race? Or is it going to be that Movistar actually stop and take stock and go, right, we're going to target these races and these race series throughout Zwift. We're going to take part in those Haute routes. We're going to take part in those Tour de Zwifts, and we're going to represent the team in that form. I don't know. But as ever, questions over to you. What do you think to this? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Do we need more of those professional teams like we saw Ineos taking part in races in Zwift? Is it time that they had an E-team and they bring in these brand new riders who, again, they could almost talent ID and just say, go and race on Zwift, because you get a little bit of exposure. You can be part of Ineos Grenadiers, but if you're crap, then you don't go any further. But actually, they could pick up 1 or 2 riders from there that they could take onto the road, and boom, there you go. Another way of feeding into that team to get that talent from their living rooms to the World Tour. I don't know. I could be making all of that up. Like I said, I'm tired. So leave your comments down below and let us know what you think. 1, to Freddie Ovett winning at Movistar Challenge. Next up in the news, sticking with indoor cycling, an exclusive as Wahoo released the first ever wired connection for your smart trainer. The Kickr Direct Connect is this little unit here. Look at that wonderful piece of equipment. Beautiful piece of plastic with an Ethernet connection and a 2.5 or a 3.5 jack. Oh, wonderful. Anyway, in the press release, Wahoo say that it's pleased to announce its new Kickr Direct Connect accessory designed to ensure that all riders can complete virtual rides and races without worrying about signal loss. Kickr Direct Connect is the world's only device that allows riders to create a wired connection between their modern indoor ride simulator and their home network. So the Kickr Direct Connect is available right now and it costs $99. Wahoo's SUF training system, Trainero, Full Gas, RGT are all compatible. Other platforms are expected to be compatible in the coming months, including Zwift. Everyone I know who rides indoors at some point suffers from dropouts, and it can be infuriating, especially when you're in a group ride, especially when you're in a race. But thanks to Wahoo, they have solved that problem. What do you think of the brand new Direct Connect from Wahoo? Do you have a version 5 of the Kickr? And if so, are you going to purchase this, or are you just going to hope that you just don't suffer from dropouts? I guess something like this will be issued when it comes to these big races on all these various different platforms, to ensure that no one is suffering from any mechanical or dropouts by directly connecting straight into that network. So there you go, exclusive here, kind of exclusive. It just came out today. Other people have probably talked about it. Shane probably has talked about it. DC's probably talked about it. Desfit's probably, they've all probably had their hands on one.
Wahoo today announced the availability of this, the Wahoo Kickr Direct Connect.
But I don't care. It's probably wasted on me anyway. Far too technologically advanced for me. Leave your comments down below. Next up, let's talk about this story that's just coming out today. Dylan Groenewegen, as if this man hasn't been through enough. God damn it. People, let's have some sympathy. We'll get on to sympathy later when we talk about Tom Dumoulin, but Dylan Groenewegen received police protection after death threats. The Dutch sprinter reveals the backlash from Jakobsen's sprint crash at the Tour of Poland. So in an interview with Dutch magazine Helden, Jumbo-Visma sprinter recounted how one package delivered to his home contained a noose for him and his partner to hang their newborn child. I can't even believe I'm actually reading that shit. Groenewegen said there were such concrete and serious threats that we called the police a few days after the crash. The following days and weeks, the police guarded our door. We could no longer spontaneously leave the house. If I wanted to go outside for a moment, there was an officer by my side so that nothing could happen. We received handwritten letters in the mail in which a noose was added with which we could hang our child later. When you read that message and see that piece of rope, you are terrified. That was the deciding factor for me that it could not continue like this. The police immediately took action after seeing those letters. Now, there's one thing calling somebody out on Twitter and just calling them a bit of a dick and just saying what you did was wrong in your own words. You know, yeah, that sucks and that's crap and that's horrible, but you can kind of deal with that. You can shut that off, you can block that out. But when you get in deliveries with the stuff that was said in that interview, I mean, how must that affect you? And I know, right, I know what he did was wrong. And I know Jakobsen could have been killed. But what more can he do now? He's apologised, he's taken responsibility for his actions. Why can't people, I mean, if it was Jakobsen or his missus, he'd kind of say, well, you're going about it the wrong way, but you have got a point, you know. Nearly wrecked your whole life. But these trolls and these freaks think that that's acceptable behaviour. And it's absolutely not. It's unbelievable. Like, leave him alone. You've got to remember, he might be able to walk out of his front door, he might be able to jump on his bike, but what's going on in his head? He's not forgetting about it. He's not blasé about it. He lives with that every single day. And that in itself is punishment enough. And you might think, Chris, you're being too soft on him. He needs punishing. But trust me, when you've done something bad and you know it's wrong and you regret it and it caused somebody else harm, you go and live with that shit forever. Whether Jakobsen goes on to make a full recovery and he gets his sprint back on and it's like nothing ever happened, you still got to live with that. And I think him having to live with that is punishment enough. I don't see how this, well, people just want attention and just want to voice their opinion, don't they? But there's ways of going about it, and I think that is to bring your wife and your child into it. I mean, if they'd find out who it was, chop his knob off. Just chop the knob off and then leave him to it. That's what I'd do. Absolutely unbelievable. Like, we've spoke about it in the past. He's taking responsibility for it. Is there any more to be said on this, or is it time now for people just to go, do you know what? I mean, most normal, sane people have. Most normal, sane people have gone, it's done. Don't need to talk about it anymore. But you've obviously got these absolute knobheads that still think that's acceptable. It's not. It's absolutely not. Leave your comments down below. Was it one of you that did that? If it was, dickheads. Leave your comment. It won't be one of you. I know. You're all too kind. But anyway, leave your comments down below. What do you think to that story? It's proper sick, innit? It's proper sick. And then finally, in today's news, let's talk Tom Dumoulin. So January 22nd, he's interviewed at a training camp, telling the world when his season's about to start. He's starting at Strade Bianchi.
Het voorjaar vind ik altijd een hele mooie periode. Iedereen staat te trappelen, inclusief ikzelf natuurlijk, om weer in gang te schieten, weet je wel. Omdat we al een paar jaar een beetje hetzelfde aan het doen zijn. En het toch niet super, omdat we toch een beetje aan het zoekende zijn, hebben we besloten om het roer een beetje om te gooien dit voorjaar. En gaan we eens een keer kasseien rijden. Dus dat wordt wel lachen. Dus ik begin vrij laat in Strade Bianche. En dan Tirreno Adriatico meteen erachteraan en meteen Milaan-San Remo. En dan doe ik E3-prijs en Ronde van Vlaanderen. Dus E3-prijs is nieuw voor mij. Ronde van Vlaanderen heb ik als eerstejaarsprof een keer gedaan, als invaller. Dus ja, ik weet een heel klein beetje wat ik moet verwachten, maar eigenlijk ook totaal niet. Dus dus echt een frisse wind, daar kijk ik wel naar uit.
And then a day later, he retracts all of it and says he's taking a break from cycling.
Misschien al een jaar eigenlijk, dat ik gewoon heel moeilijk weet hoe ik mijn weg moet vinden als Tom Dumoulin, de wielrenner, zeg maar. Hoe, met de druk die erbij komt kijken, met de verwachtingen van verschillende partijen. En ik wil het gewoon heel graag heel goed doen voor heel veel mensen. Ik wil graag dat de ploeg blij is met mij. Ik wil graag dat de sponsoren blij zijn. Ik wil graag dat mijn vrouw en mijn familie blij zijn. En daardoor wil ik het voor iedereen goed doen, zeg maar. En voor mijn ploeggenoten. Maar daardoor ben ik het afgelopen jaar eigenlijk een beetje mezelf vergeten. En wat wil ik eigenlijk? En wat wil gewoon de mens, Tom Dumoulin, met zijn leven op dit moment? En dat is gewoon een vraag die al heel diep van binnen eigenlijk al een paar maanden aan het opborrelen is. En ik krijg eigenlijk de tijd niet om die vraag te beantwoorden. Omdat het leven als profielrenner gaat door. Zit in een sneltrein.
Now, not that Tom Dumoulin watches this channel, he doesn't. But I've kind of been a little bit like, a few snide comments about Tom Dumoulin not kind of fulfilling his potential, or not kind of being there or almost being there, but then never quite getting over the line in the Tour de France. And we saw the rise of Primož Roglič coming through, and Tom Dumoulin just not being able to step up, and him kind of going backwards. And I think someone said in the stream last night, there was some sort of comment about Tom Dumoulin, and it wasn't really having a go at him, but it was kind of having a go at him. And in the stream, I was saying that, like, this man's in a privileged position. He's a very high earner, doing a sport he loves, traveling the world, racing at some of the biggest races, riding for one of the biggest teams in the world with so much talent. Anybody looking from the outside would go, if I was in that position, I wouldn't do that. But you don't know what's going on in his head. Like we spoke about Dylan Groenewegen. People think that he goes about his daily life and never thinks about what happened, but he does. Same with Tom Dumoulin. He doesn't fulfill his potential that he feels he can. He's always there or thereabouts when it comes to the Tour de France, never really stepping up to the mark that a lot of people had said he should be at. And that plays on his mind. And people, I guess, like me and the fans, you see Tom Dumoulin, you see his talent, you expect more. And with our expectations, with the team expectations, with the sponsors' expectations, with his own expectations, with the pressure of making sure that he's providing for his family, I don't blame him for taking this moment to decide to do that. I think it's a courageous move. I think it's a brave move. I think it's something that he clearly needed to do, and it's only going to help him, regardless of whether he comes back to cycling, regardless of whether he decides to ever jump on a bike, whether that be for fun or to race again. Like, he needs this time away to work on what's going on in his head, and to have publicly interviewed like that and to have got it all off his chest, you can clearly see that he feels relieved. He even said it feels like a massive weight has been lifted off his shoulders instantly as soon as he said it. And the interviewer went on to say that, you are in a privileged position, and other people might look at this and see this as a bit of an issue. And he was like, I don't care. This is where I'm at, and this is what I need to do for me. And he's right. And I think I've got a lot of admiration and respect for him. I had it anyway, but it's kind of gone up another level. But let me know what your thoughts on this are, because you've kind of got two trains of thoughts here. You've got, this is one of the most physically demanding, most mentally demanding sports in the world. You've got to be strong. You've got to be tough to do this sport. So in this moment, should he just go, you know what? I've got a job to do. I'm going to do it. Whether it's affecting my mental health or not, I'm going to do it because that's what's expected. and I've got to prove my worth and I've got to prove my manhood by digging deep and ignoring this pain that I'm feeling and just crack on with it. Or kind of more my thought is, if he's struggling that much with his mental health, why continue to do it? Like, take a step back, assess what's actually going on, because you never get time to do that when you're in that circus. You're traveling from here, there, everywhere. You're never settled. You're always out on the bike. You're always putting your body under strain. You're always putting your mental capacity under strain, and you never really get time to just take that step back to decompress and take it all in and go, is this what I really want? I mean, it was earlier, but now I've just been part of this circus for the past 5 or 6, 7, 8 years, and actually I'm actually done with it now. So I don't know what's going to happen. Do we think Tom Dumoulin is going to return, or do we think he's going to take that time out and go, actually, no pressure on me. I can sleep at night. My body doesn't ache. I see my missus every single day. It's bloody amazing. I don't know. Leave your comments down below on what your views are on Tom Dumoulin deciding to take a break, especially at this moment in the season. It wasn't during the off-season. Obviously, the guys were preparing, so he must have been going through a lot of turmoil. And he's on that training camp with the team, and that's where he decides to call it quits for the time being on his cycling career with Jumbo-Visma. But yeah, leave your comments down below and let me know. All right, and I think that'll pretty much cover the news for today. Pretty deep and pretty heavy news. Leave your comments down below about everything we spoke about. If there's anything we missed, leave your comments down below and you can start your own discussions down in the chats about that. Make sure, if you've not done already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that dislike button if you've disliked the video for whatever reason. Make sure you're leaving those comments down below. I am back tomorrow, legs permitting, because I ain't gonna lie, they pretty saw 110k of virtual riding, so it's not really 110k, but we'll not get into that. I think we're going to go for Veloton tomorrow. I know I said we were going to Veloton stream last Friday, but definitely 100% we're going to Veloton stream tomorrow. So make sure you've hit that notification bell so you know when I go live with that live stream, and you can get involved in the chat, become part of the Chub Club if you want to get those exclusive emojis and exclusive behind the scenes footage of what goes into making a Chris Pritchard cycling news show. You can hit that like join button somewhere down, depending where you're watching it. I don't know. Anyway, until next time, see you there.